The Warden's warning. Kalen was no stranger to danger. His inventory, meticulously organized with diamond-edged tools and a stack of golden apples, bore testament to countless expeditions into dark caves, forgotten mine shafts, and the scorching depths of the Nether. But his latest obsession, a whispered legend among the few explorers brave enough to venture beyond the familiar Overworld, promised a new kind of challenge and a new kind of treasure. The deep dark. For weeks he had prepared. Obsidian for fortifications, a shulker box brimming with potions of healing and night vision, and a map etched from whispered rumors and cryptic ancient texts. The journey downwards was a slow, deliberate descent. He bypassed gurgling lava lakes, navigated treacherous ravines filled with the lurking skeletons, and sealed off the persistent chatter of zombie hordes with thick walls of cobblestone. Deeper and deeper he delved, the air growing colder, denser, the earthy scent of stone giving way to a strange, almost sterile aroma. Then, a faint, ethereal blue glow pulsed in the distance, a beacon in the oppressive gloom. He had found it. The entrance to the ancient city was an experience unlike any other. Massive, silent structures of dark, hardened deep slate rose from the bedrock, their surfaces subtly illuminated by an omnipresent eerie blue light that seemed to a man emanate from the very stone. Sculk blocks, alien and organic, pulsed with latent energy, their tendrils snaking across floors and walls. Kalen moved with extreme caution, his footsteps muffled by wool laid strategically over Skulk's sensors. He disarmed tripwires, bypassed hidden pressure plates, and methodically cleared chests of their precious ancient loot. Enchanted books of mending and swift sneak, shimmering golden apples, and discs humming with forgotten melodies. His greed, however, pushed him further. A colossal structure, grander and more foreboding than the rest, beckoned from the deepest part of the city. It promised unparalleled riches. Step by careful step he approached, the silence of the city broken only by the faint thump-thump of his own heart. He reached the structure's threshold, his hand brushing against a deep slate wall. But the stone beneath his foot crumbled slightly, a stray piece of gravel dislodged. The tink echoed in the vast chamber. In an instant, the world ignited with sound. The skulk sensors, until now dormant, pulsed violently, a ripple of sound spreading through the entire city. Then came the shriekers. 4, 5, perhaps more, unleashing a piercing, bone-chilling cry that tore through the oppressive silence, each shriek more intense than the last. Kalen felt a terrifying rumble in his chest, a deep vibration that resonated through the very bedrock. The air grew impossibly heavy, the blue glow intensified to a blinding, pulsating aura. Then, from the inky blackness, it emerged, a colossal, eyeless horror of deep slate and skulk, its chest glowing with an internal, terrifying blue light. The Warden. It moved with a silent, relentless grace, its massive claws scraping against the deep slate floor, each step a reverberating thump that promised oblivion. It was blind, but it heard everything, every panicked breath, every frantic movement. Kalen didn't hesitate. He knew the creature's power. There was no fighting it, only escaping. He spun, sprinting back the way he came, the Warden's thumping steps echoing his own panicked rhythm. The sonic boom attack tore through the air behind him, blasting away parts of the deep slate wall, a testament to its raw, destructive power. He leaped over chasms, vaulted over broken structures, fueled by sheer terror. As he scrambled past a final hidden chest, his hand instinctively reached in, grabbing a small, smooth object that pulsed with a faint internal blue light. He didn't stop to identify it, only clutched it tightly as he continued his desperate climb, the thumping fading, but never quite disappearing from his mind. even as he broke through the final layer of stone and emerged, gasping into the blessed light of the overworld. The relief was immediate, overwhelming. Kalen collapsed onto the grassy ground, gulping in lungfuls of fresh air, the sunlight a warm, comforting balm on his skin. He pushed away the lingering dread, attributing it to the adrenaline of his harrowing escape. He looked at the strange artifact he'd instinctively clutched, a smooth, obsidian-like stone, veined with faint blue light, pulsing softly in his hand. He rationalized it as a rare gem, a testament to his bravery, and tucked it into his inventory. But the world felt different. As he made his way towards the nearest village, a strange unease began to settle over him. A flock of chickens, usually docile, squawked in alarm and scattered wildly at his approach, huddling together in a corner of their pen. A group of sheep, grazing peacefully, suddenly huddled together, their eyes wide with what looked like genuine fear. They weren't reacting to him directly, but to something Kalen couldn't see, something that seemed to follow just behind him. When he reached the village, the unsettling signs intensified. The usual bustling activity of the villagers had ceased. Their contented hums and casual clacks of tools against anvils were replaced by a panicked murmuring. They shrank from his approach, not meeting his gaze, but glancing nervously past him, their eyes wide with fear. One librarian, usually engrossed in his books, pointed a trembling finger at the air just over Kalen's shoulder, his usually calm expression replaced by one of profound terror. Kalen turned quickly, seeing nothing but empty air, and dismissed it as fatigue, a lingering paranoia from the deep dark. He checked the deep dark heart in his inventory. It pulsed softly, casting an eerie, faint blue glow over his other items. Night fell, and with it, the world seemed to grow darker, colder, even with his torches casting their familiar glow. Phantom thumps, faint and distant, echoed in the silence, sometimes accompanied by whispers of a familiar bone-chilling shriek. Creepers, usually drawn to him like moths to a flame, hissed nervously but backed away, seemingly uninterested in pursuing. Skeletons aimed poorly, their arrows missing wildly. Zombies shambled by, their vacant eyes not fixed on Kalen, but seemingly drawn to something else in the darkness, something he couldn't perceive. And then, the sculk started to appear. Tiny, insidious patches of the alien growth began to sprout on the stone and dirt blocks around his temporary shelter, their eerie blue glow a constant silent reminder of the deep dark. Kalen's initial dismissal gave way to full-blown paranoia. He abandoned his temporary shelter, choosing to build a new, formidable base. Walls of obsidian, reinforced with blast-resistant crying obsidian, rose from the earth. He surrounded it with layers of iron golem patrols and a moat of lava. He tried to throw away the deep dark heart, to rid himself of the source of this creeping dread, but he found himself unable to. His hand trembled, a strange reluctance gripping him, as if the artifact itself exerted a subtle, almost hypnotic pull. It pulsed more intensely now, illuminating his inventory screen with a persistent, ominous glow, a silent beacon in the encroaching gloom. The sculk veins proliferated around his home, spreading like a disease, their eerie glow casting long, dancing shadows. The air inside his fortified base grew cold, impossibly cold, despite the crackling fires in his hearth. The thumping, no longer a phantom echo, became distinct, rhythmic, closer. The very ground beneath his feet vibrated, a low, resonant hum. Then, as he stared out through a small reinforced window, the sky above his base darkened prematurely, a localized eclipse, and in the profound darkness, a massive glowing blue eye briefly manifested, hovering in the air outside, then vanished. Kalen knew then. The Warden hadn't just been escaped, it had followed. It was not just a trace, but a direct consequence of the artifact he clutched. The final manifestation was terrifying in its silent inevitability. The Warden emerged from the earth outside his obsidian fortress, a colossal, blind guardian, its chest glowing with an intensified, malevolent blue light. It was drawn, undeniably, to the artifact. Kalen understood then. The deep, dark heart was not a treasure, but a curse. A magnet that pulled the creature from the very depths of the earth. He couldn't fight it. He had to sever the connection, not by violence, but by releasing the artifact from his grasp. A desperate plan formed in his mind. He raced out of his base, the Warden, surprisingly slow but relentlessly tracking him, its thumping footsteps shaking the ground. Kalen ran towards the nearest deep ravine, a colossal fissure in the earth that plunged into the endless blackness of the void. He sprinted with the last reserves of his energy, the Warden closing in, its sonic boom attack tearing through the air, narrowly missing him, blasting a chunk out of the earth where he had stood moments before. He reached the edge of the chasm, the void a gaping maw beneath him. The Warden was almost upon him, its massive form casting an impossible shadow, its glowing chest a searing beacon in the pre-dawn gloom. With a surge of adrenaline, Kalen unearthed the deep dark heart from his inventory. It pulsed violently, a blinding flash of blue light. With a cry of desperate resolve, he hurled it with all his might into the endless blackness of the void below. The moment the artifact disappeared into the abyss, the Warden froze. Its blue glow dimmed, then flickered, then faded entirely. The sculk veins on the surface, which had spread so rapidly, shriveled and turned to dust, crumbling into nothingness. The Warden didn't vanish immediately. It turned, a strange, almost mournful turn, its sightless face seeming to stare at the void where its purpose had just been lost. Then, slowly, it sank back into the earth, burrowing away, its thumping fading into silence, swallowed by the deep. Kalen collapsed at the edge of the ravine, exhausted, body trembling, but safe. The world seemed normal again. The air was fresh, the sky slowly lightening with the promise of dawn. The sounds of passive mobs, sheep bleating and chickens clucking, returned to the air. He had escaped a terrible fate, learned a harrowing lesson. Some treasures were not meant to be taken, some depths not meant to be plundered. The deep dark had its guardians, and its warnings were very real. Kalen would forever remember the thumping, a constant reminder of how close he had come to becoming another silent victim of the Warden's relentless warning.